there?
Oh, that's even better.
All right. There's a button on the back of this microphone. Let me make sure, cause
Oh yeah, that's real good. That'll work right there. That's the one.
is this better?
Yes, yes, that's better.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I just
Yes,
need to get a
sir.
little bit closer, I guess.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll make it work. We'll make it work, man. It's an honor having you here, ladies and gentlemen, because we going. We recording everything. We getting all the bloopers and
Oh,
all,
okay,
right?
cool. Okay. I was gonna grab some water
So,
real
ladies and
quick.
gentlemen, you know what I mean? That's which is cool because we gonna be here as long as you got time. We here, we rolling.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to have this gentleman. Oh man, I can't wait to hear his story. I can't wait everything from what he's told me. I'm definitely interested to get all the backgrounds and the details of everything, especially being one of our veterans in the licensed massage industry. Okay, been doing it for 18 years, I believe.
Yeah,
You
18
know,
years.
almost got 2 decades. You might as well say 2 decades because the
Man.
training you add to that too. So you might as well say 2 decades to that, all the way down in Alabama,
Mhm.
all with Life Touch Massage. Oh my gosh, we welcome one of our greats,
Oh wow.
Lamar Story, ladies and gentlemen. Lamar
Thank
Story.
you. Thank you, brother. I
Yes, yes,
appreciate it.
man. Honored to have you, man. Honored to have you. Appreciate you reaching out. Appreciate you, you know, because this is what we doing, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know,
Wakanda
that's
forever.
how you say it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, man, I can't thank you enough for spending the time and being here with us. With Lamar Story is the perfect name to start into our
Mm.
first question is to inform us about your story, how all of this, you know, I know for what you shared, but let the ladies and gentlemen know the whole background and how you got to this point where we are.
Wow, it's an interesting story, but not really because so my background, my bachelor's is in child and family studies. Um, I
Okay.
graduated with a bachelor's degree in child and family studies, and I worked in the foster care industry for two
Okay.
years before I decided to become a massage therapist.
Huh.
Really, I had never ever thought about becoming a massage therapist. Like, there was nowhere in my atmosphere. I had never had a massage before. Um, I had a chair massage. I tell you that, but I had a chair massage in college, and I think that was my
Mm-hmm.
first kind of introduction to massage therapy. We had like a wellness fair at school, and there was a lady there doing chair
Mm-hmm.
massages, and I had my first chair massage in college. But other than that, I hadn't been introduced to the profession at all. Um, which I'm finding that a lot of people in our culture are introduced to massage therapy later in life. Um,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and and that's what I'm finding. But so I was working in at a agency, a foster care agency, and it wasn't what I wanted to do with my life. Um,
Yeah.
it wasn't what I wanted to do. It wasn't really paying the bills. You know what I mean? It was like I got this bachelor's
Mm-hmm.
degree. I was like, I need to go to school for something else, but I want to go to school for something I really want to go to school for. So I just kind of
Yeah.
started doing my research, and I opened a news article one day, and there was an ad for School of Massage Therapy at Virginia College, and I was like, massage therapy, and I called them
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
called the school, and the lady told me to come up there
Mm-hmm.
for a visit. I went up there for a visit, and the rest was history. Like, I signed up immediately, um, and fell in love with it. And 18 years later,
Yeah.
here I am. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's very interesting, very similar to the story. It's like all a lot of I can't say all, but a lot of massage therapists licensed um, find themselves just not happy or just looking for something on the side. That's very similar. If you see my episode with my story, I wasn't even thinking massage. I was in the IT field, and like you said, I
yeah,
wasn't happy, and I wanted to do something that I can control my time. Do something where I could enjoy life more and spend time with my boys, spend time living, but also, basically work less, but make more to balance everything and just have that freedom on the day to day. And
Hmm.
it seems like I come across a lot of therapists that's the story. Like we just found ourselves going
Yeah.
to massage, either if it's from,
Hmm.
looking at something on TV, a commercial, or ad, a newsletter, whatever. We
Yeah.
just find ourselves, or it's like massage therapy found us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And that's what I'm starting to
which
think
is,
too.
which
Is
is,
like, yeah, it also
yeah.
it feels like that, like it found us. Because when you get into it,
Hmm.
I fell in love with it. I was like, man, I'm getting
Yeah.
paid good money to do something that I love to do. And when you
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
as you probably know this, when you get clients on the table, we have a lot of clients who are doing things that they do not love to do, but they have to take care of their household. And it's just a
Yeah.
blessing that we actually
Mhm.
get to do something to help people and do something that we love to do, and that's so gratifying to us, you know.
Yeah. I can't explain more. I had a client last night that was in so much pain,
Mhm.
and was having trouble breathing, etc., etc. And the fact I was able to help her, which I posted on my social media, the fact I was able to help her at that magnitude is a feeling. That's when you love what you do, you love to help, you love the craft
Yeah.
of. It's not the payment, it's not the money, it's the fact that we were able to help that individual
Mhm.
have a better life, because at least give them, if it's not relief of that magnitude, for the ones like you said that comes in here and can't stand their day to day. We're not only we're a licensed massage therapist, we're like a therapist too.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of conversation takes
Mhm.
place,
Yeah.
with that. So doing that and hearing their story and doing that, and we're able to at least give them a moment of peace,
Mhm.
at that moment is absolutely
Yeah.
incredible,
A
man.
moment of
Like,
peace in what seems to
that.
be very chaotic in their life. You know what I mean? But um
Yes, yes.
yeah. Yeah, man, it's truly a blessing to be able to do this. And that part of the story, when I found out what I wanted to do, then it was like the next part was, where do I want to do it? You know what I mean? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
it was when I was in school, we were allowed to do externships. So I did an externship for this guy named Jesse Fields. He was a black guy. It was a black owned
Okay.
spa downtown Birmingham, in downtown Birmingham. And he
Yeah.
owned a salon, and the spa was next to the salon. He actually did hair. Him, his son, his nephew, and his brother, they all did hair. The spa was next
Okay.
to it, and I did my externship there. So when I graduated and got my license, that was my first job there. But I got to see
Wow.
the type of clientele that I wanted. Like he worked for, I mean, a lot of his clients worked for Alabama Power, which is a part of Southern Company. So you had all these black
Mm-hmm.
professionals coming in to get services. Like, I'm from the hood. It's just a lot of stuff that I hadn't seen before. You know what I'm saying? So I'm starting to see
Mm-hmm.
all of
Mm-hmm.
these people coming in that's professional. They making a lot of money. I'm able to provide
Mm-hmm.
this service for them. He kind of introduced me to a whole nother lifestyle. Um,
Yeah.
his spa with his the way they dressed was very clean. The spa, the salon, it was just so nice.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my inspiration. But it was slow
Yeah.
because he was really like, he did hair. That was his thing. He really didn't know how to run a spa at the time. And
Mm-hmm.
so what I did was it was a resort that just opened here during that time, and I went and took a job there. I worked there for 13 years. It's called the Ross Bridge Resort and Spa. And
Yeah.
man, that allowed me to work on clients from all over the world. That's when I was working
I
on
see.
professional athletes, professional pastors, professional entertainers, like you name it. Everybody came through there because it's also a big golfing destination. So it's like, a lot of golf tournaments and stuff were held there. So that really
Yeah.
taught me a lot about the spirit to serve too, because it's a Marriott.
Mm-hmm.
Marriott has this spirit to serve thing, and it just taught me a lot about how to serve people and be humble, and I really
Yeah.
appreciated that experience.
Yeah, that's a I can relate. You
Yeah.
know, the service industry, especially, I mean, there's a couple of things I want to pull out of
Hmm.
that moment. One is being exposed, your first job. A lot of us, especially from the hood, especially from poverty, especially from tough times, is it just me or I feel that a lot of us don't look at service of any kind? Maybe the closest thing is salon and barbering.
Hmm.
I will probably put, but or not just exposed to different services off the rip. It's almost kind of like you just find yourself experiencing that if it's at the barber, but we don't necessarily think about the service industry a lot. We think about being a boss and entrepreneur and everything. You know, they
Hmm.
can go from shirts, they can go from owning something and having
Right.
employees. But a lot of times I see and find that we don't come across the service industry unless it's the image, because the image is kind of what takes the lead by default. And even then, we don't fully understand the impact and magnitude of servicing, especially with the image. Our image is everything. You
Yeah.
know, we
Yeah.
we we really take care of how we look.
Hmm.
Um, and we'll put how we look over a bill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Unfortunately.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Depending on what's going on. And it's amazing once we grasp the service industry and really
Hmm.
see what it's about, which leads to the second topic of going to the resorts, going in there and seeing how well and like the ability to work on anybody.
Right.
But that doesn't
Right.
mean we're for everybody. But the
Right.
ability to
Right.
work on anybody is
Hmm.
absolutely incredible. That
Hmm.
growth, I don't want anybody to miss that. The
Hmm.
service industry is, I think, to me, my opinion, one of the best things you can do on this earth,
Yeah.
because the value in it of if it's image, if it's doing somebody's nails, it's cut somebody's hair, massage, chiropractic,
Yeah.
or esthetician, working on your skin and
Hmm.
really taking care of humanity and ourselves
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
is one of the feelings that
And once.
unless you feel it and experience it,
Hmm.
we're just oblivious. We don't
Yeah.
know. We're not educated about it. So it's incredible that you share that growth that you went through,
Yeah.
man. And I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing that, man, because the
I,
resorts,
I,
oh, as soon as you said Marriott Resorts, I already know what you're talking about.
mhm.
But
And I liken
there's
what we.
some.
Hmm.
Go ahead.
I liken what we do to. You ever watch the movie The Butler?
Uh-huh.
You ever
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
were you a massage therapist when you watched that
No.
at the time?
Yeah, because
Man. So
I've been doing it only for 3 years now. I'm very
yeah,
new.
go back and watch it. It relates
Hmm.
to what we do because he said something in the movie. I don't know if he said this is what I took away from it. But people
Hmm.
minimize his role because he was a butler.
Yeah,
He provided this
yeah,
service, right? But he had the
yeah.
ability to speak in the ears and influence kings and queens, presidents,
Hmm.
right? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So he was the
yeah.
president's butler. The president would ask his
It didn't.
opinion about things. Does this sound familiar? You know what I mean? So we get people on
Hmm.
our table that
Yeah,
are doctors, they're high level professionals we get the full spectrum of people on our table and they're asking us opinions about things, right? So one thing I learned in this
right.
work is that I think the average is massage therapist, if you're full time, you massage over like 1,000 people a year. So I've been doing this
Hmm.
18 years. I think I've seen every kind of person that I could see. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So,
Hmm. Hmm.
but one thing I took away is that it really doesn't matter what socioeconomic level that you're on. We all
Hmm.
still have this sameness about us. Like as human beings, we
Yeah,
still go through the same trials and tribulations. They may be a little different if you make $1 million versus making $20,000. But like if it's marital issues or if it's dealing with your kids, it comes back to the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
little old us, massage therapists in the service industry, we have the ability to speak to kings and queens on our tables, to presidents, to CEOs, to whatever. And that's why I always encourage massage therapists to practice personal development, right? To always do
Yes.
something to develop yourself. Read books. I read a lot. You know what I mean? So read books,
Yeah.
take classes, whatever, because that's going to determine the type of people that will lay on your table. So it's like, man, how do why are you charging this much? Or how did you charge this much? Because my clientele don't mind paying that much. You know what I mean? So it's like the type of clients that you have, they come to you because they like you. Now you also have to provide a good service. But if they like you, they're gonna come to you on a regular basis. But
Oh,
if they're
definitely.
an individual, they're a doctor, they PhD this, they that, if you can't relate to them somewhere, you're probably gonna lose them. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Completely. Completely.
Yeah.
Like
That movie,
I
man,
was
it
just
was.
speaking about that.
Mhm.
I definitely got to go back and watch it because that brought up. I didn't think about that perspective. Once I seen it, I didn't even go back to it or really think about it until you just said it.
Mhm.
Like that serve, like wow, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and like you said, like anybody to kind of piggyback off of what you said with the, it's not just you got to be able to relate to people. You got to have good quality work too. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's all that service to go there. There's a lot of there may be some individuals out here that and not to bash anyone that charges based off of what they see, but if you're charging that, you gotta, which I found out, you gotta understand the price tells what type of expectations people might have on the
Right.
quality work you bring.
Right.
So if you're charging a high price value, that client, customer, etc., is going to be expecting high quality work,
Right.
not the average Joe. And it takes
Mhm.
things like what you're saying, reading, investing into yourself, investing into developing yourself personally and professionally
Right.
to maintain that type of quality and evolve. Because
Yeah.
even you can do a great service, but once they didn't had it 5, 6 times, if it's the same
Yeah.
and there's no evolution to it, there's no
Mhm.
evolve, no better, no
Yeah.
newness, no nothing, then you may lose them that way too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I know what you're going to do.
Mhm.
And that's why I think I try to tell people all the time, like, make sure you are listening to the
Mhm.
client. And I don't mean verbally, really understanding the craft. And part of the way of practicing is everybody is different. Even if you see that person a million times, they're going to come in different somehow
Mhm.
because the day to day eventually takes over. Lower back may be hurting one day, upper back may be hurting, scapula may
Right.
be hurting. You got to
Right.
understand how to get underneath that scapula in different ways. Some may not like or be able to handle a lot of deep pressure, even if they need deep pressure,
Mhm.
or just angles and different how to expose certain muscles and certain positions to get a better. You got to know that the little cuts and crevices of everything, and that's why I try to tell people you just can't. It's not. We're not rubbing, like it's so much we do.
Oh yeah.
And with your story and how you broke it down like that, I just wanted to piggyback and give a little bit more detail
Yeah.
on what you said. The depth of it, like it's so much that goes into it, man.
It
It's
is.
oh my gosh, it's so much, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh God. So like, how is it
Mhm.
in Alabama? How is everything being received? Because that's going to lead to another. Oh, I can't wait to get to that question. But another question, because you are doing so much, and I don't think a lot of people understand who they seeing right now. So we're gonna let them know today. So
Alabama is very
yeah.
receptive to massage therapy. Um,
Okay.
So I had some issues when and luckily I had a mentor that worked right next to me side by side at Ross Bridge
Hmm.
for over 13 years, and he's really become a good friend. And he's older, an older gentleman, and he's also a
Hmm.
black male, pastor,
Yeah.
minister, all
Yeah.
that stuff. Um, I used to get very frustrated when you would get a white client and you go in there and you get a white client and they look at you like, I was supposed to have a female. It's like, you didn't request a female, like we know this, or you know what, it's not you, it's me, and then one day I got very frustrated and I was talking to my mentor and he was just like, look, you have to realize that we're dealing with where we are, first of all, in the South. And we're still dealing with people who have these issues with black people, black men, etc. But you never know what type of issues they may have had in the past. We don't know their
Hmm.
history, right?
Hmm.
Um, and he said also don't blame yourself because you're willing to do the work. They're not. The issue lies with them. So you don't want to blame yourself
Mm.
when you say out, and it may be like this where you are. I'm in Alabama. I've never worked anywhere else besides this, so that's what I've experienced. And I've worked at different places as well, and
Hmm.
received the same thing. You know what I mean? Not by all. It's
Hmm.
very like it's not like it
Hmm.
happens all the time, but every once in a while you
Hmm.
will get that, right? And I found that
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
because you asked me, how I started doing my own business. I started doing in-home services, right? Started doing in-home and
Hmm.
corporate chair massage. And it's a certain neighborhood here with just a lot of rich, very rich white people like Mountain Brook. I think it might be one of the richest cities in the States. I can't remember what number it is, but so it's a lot of wealthy individuals
Huh.
there. A lot of my clients were from there, the ones that were cool. You know what I mean? So I would go to
Hmm.
their home. So I got the police called on me a couple of times just for being in the neighborhood. And one incident that really got me to thinking like I need to get my own place was I was at a lady's house. She was a dentist. Her and her husband are dentists. Um, and first of all, I guess she didn't tell her husband that I was black. So when I showed up to the house, it was like,
Uh-oh.
who is this? You know what I mean? So I was like, of course, I was like,
Yeah.
okay. Man, he was leaving. But she also had a housekeeper. Um, her housekeeper was Hispanic. But while I was
Hmm.
upstairs doing her massage, the housekeeper came upstairs and was like, there's somebody at the door that wants to see you. And she was like, well, I'm getting a massage right now. So she came back. She was like, the police are at the door and they want to see you. And I looked at the housekeeper, and me and her kind of had this connection, right? Because you know what I was
Hmm.
thinking,
Hmm.
and I was like,
Right.
her being
The
Hispanic, she
facial
probably know
expression.
exactly what I'm thinking. And then she's like, "Well, just
Hmm.
tell him I'm in the shower." I looked at her like, "That's the last thing you want to tell them, right?"
Right.
So whatever the housekeeper told them, the issue was squashed. But I'm pretty sure she didn't tell them that. Um, so that
Right.
transitioned me. I was like, look, I had to start thinking differently. I was like, I don't want to be a statistic. You know what I mean? So
Right.
um,
Right.
I was like, I don't. And it's sad that we had to think about those things. Um, Even if I was a black female, I probably would have been okay. But it was a black man going into this house. You know what I mean? So um, that's when I transitioned to like I got to find a space for myself. And I was still working at Ross Bridge, and I started my business while I was working at Ross Bridge, and I just started part time, and I found a space, and I just went from there. Is this live? Because I see a chat thing, and I was like, I didn't know if this was like
Yeah, yeah,
other
yeah.
people can see this too.
Nobody's in the chat though. Nobody in the
Oh,
chat, but they
okay,
can go live. It's
okay,
it's live, but it's closed. So
okay, got
the only way to like get in is uh with the link like you
you.
got.
Okay,
There's a
got
different link for the audience,
you.
and eventually we'll get there. where we can
Mhm.
really have conversations and talk with everybody. I'm building up to it.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's wow. I've only
Yeah.
experienced that maybe twice here. At my practice, it's I got all walks, and I'm
Mhm.
being supported from everyone, which I love.
And what
Um,
part of town are
but
you? Where do you live?
I'm in right now. My studio is in Noblesville, Indiana. It's probably about 15 minutes above the Indiana capital, Indianapolis.
Mhm.
So this is the part, kind of like what you're saying, is kind of the nicer area of Indiana, as far as the city. So like the suburb area is more like Carmel, Noblesville, which is here because it's building up a lot. There's a lot of construction. There's a lot of new companies coming in. Fishers, I believe Carmel and Fishers got best small city to live in a nation,
Oh wow, nice.
like kind of back to back. Carmel, I think Fisher got it, then Carmel, then Fisher got it again, and maybe for the next 2 years. So the last decade, I know we've had it. Those two cities then had the best small city to live in a nation at least 3 times the
Mhm.
last decade, or almost 15 years. And once, though, we were a part of like the top 10, even though we weren't the best, we were still part of the top 10 best places. So a lot of investments start coming here, and all walks of life comes here. But when I was working at Massage Heights, uh, at a franchise, um, or at that franchise, I had the same exact words. They requested, I'm pretty sure they knew the name of who, et cetera, et cetera. And then when I came in, they were like, are you giving me my massage?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, yes, I'm the therapist giving you,
Mhm.
yes, this is why I'm asking you the questions, like getting more detail on the problem area you want me to work on. Oh, and then it was like, I thought I was going to have a female therapist, which
Mhm.
leads me to the point where we were told in school, we were told, and it's for male massage therapists, it's twice as hard.
Mhm.
It's twice as hard. 3 times as hard as I believe, and depending on the area for male black massage therapists.
Yeah.
Um, is that's one of the reasons why I work on my craft so much, because I have to knock it out of the park. That's my mentality. I
Yeah.
have to do an absolute incredible job
Mhm.
every single time. I cannot fall off
Do you feel
every
pressure
session.
from
I
that?
don't
Mhm.
anymore. I used to when I first started,
Mhm.
because I had a lot of different therapists around me,
Mhm.
both female, both female, male, black, white, all walks of life. And me, I I came in with the mentality starting off because nobody knew who I was. So I felt like I would have been judged, the moment they see me, and hopefully we get to the work. So to me, it's like, if I don't do an incredible job, they may go to someone else. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I felt once I built my reputation, and for the ones that gave me a chance, all walks of life, and they really helped build me here, so it's a little different up here for me. But I know there's areas that can be more tough,
Mhm.
or more challenging to grow, but
Yeah.
here all walks of life is really catapulted me to, from referring their friends or coworkers, or I got a lot of people coming to me now, and I'm
That's
thankful
awesome.
for everybody,
Right.
because now it's not me or who I am; it's my work that speaks, that they're
Mhm.
referring to. So I'm very thankful for all my clients, all walks of life, that's
Yeah.
helping me with this.
Yeah.
So it's different up here for me,
Mhm.
I can say.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
I noticed that too when I was at Ross Bridge because it was a safe space for them. Um,
Hmm.
it was. I had clients from all walks of life. I was voted like 6 or 7 years in a row as the most requested massage therapist. Um, and I
Right.
worked there 13 years. And then, after that, I just I was always booked, right? And then I noticed that
Mm-hmm.
the transition happened when I opened my own space. And when I opened
Mm-hmm.
my own space, I noticed that my percentage of clientele went from 70% white to like 90% black, right?
Oh.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the national average for people who receive massage is 70% white females. So my clientele right now is like 90% black. Um, my staff is
Wow.
all black. I have um, four massage therapists, including myself. My front desk is black. It's always been that way. And
Mm-hmm.
I used to feel like that wasn't intentional either when I first started. It wasn't intentional. It was
Mm-hmm.
just about the people that I knew around me. They said,
Yeah.
"Hey, you wanted to come work Life Touch," and I was like, "Cool." And
Mm-hmm.
then I was in some business courses, and I expressed that I had a concern that because my staff was all black, that maybe other people were uncomfortable coming to us. And every
Mm-hmm.
business person that I spoke to, they said, "Lamar, you found a niche in your community, and you should keep it
Yeah.
that way. Like, don't feel guilty about it."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, ever since
Right.
then, I was
Right.
like, okay, let's work to super serve my community. Um, um, and that's all I've been focusing on now. How do we super serve the community? And how do I grow the therapists that work for me to eventually work for themselves? Or eventually say, hey, I want to be a Life Touch owner too. And then they carry on the name of Life Touch in a different area. So that's my whole goal right now.
Yeah, which
Hmm.
is incredible. Which leads to that one I'm really interested in, because like how two things to lead into that. Let's
Hmm.
start. Can you give us more detail on things that you do to help the therapist to help serve the community? Is there any like, do you have memberships, or do you have events you put together, et cetera, et cetera?
Hmm.
Which leads to my number two. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two leads to the olive branch that
Hmm.
you've mentioned. That, oh man, that's incredible. So I'll let you explain the olive branch when we get to that. So the first one, things that you do to help give back to the community, the things you do to help uh you know future therapists, to the olive branch. Like, how do you do that?
Okay. Well, I'll start off with the community question.
Yep.
Especially pre-COVID, we did a lot of free community events. So we used to go to the YWCA every year, do free chair massages.
Hmm.
Because one thing that I learned, and like I spoke about earlier, was the education piece.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of the benefits of massage therapy growing up. I had no introduction to it. It's just like I got introduced in college. And I'm finding out that most people that are in other cultures, they get introduced to massage therapy way before college.
Hmm.
At Ross Bridge, we did Ross Bridge kids massage. So they were bringing their kids in to the
Wow.
spa, and we were doing massages there. And that didn't last long because a lot of us were, they didn't want to pay us for that same hour that they were paying for adult. But to us, an hour is an hour, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
um, so that didn't last long. But so my priority was educating the community. So we went to churches, we went to Wise, we went to any kind of community events, and we set up chairs. And a massage chair is a great way to introduce your clients to massage because you don't have to take your clothes off. They pass. You'll see them circle the chair like 5 times before they
Hmm.
actually come over there, right?
Yeah.
And then, but you're actually able to put your hands on them and show them immediately what the benefits of massage therapy could do for them. And we've had people break down crying and everything in these chairs, man. We've experienced some very incredible emotional releases during these chair massages. And so that's what we used to do for the community. Now today, I bought a couple of lots in the Ensley area of Birmingham, um, that I want to do something very special with for the community. So the idea is to create a meditation park. So I have 4 lots. They're empty lots. But 2 of the lots are right next to each other.
Mhm.
And I want to create a meditation part in our community. Because one thing I realized is that your environment plays a huge role in how active you are outside.
Mhm.
So me working at Ross Bridge, I have 3 children. They're all teenagers now, 18, 16, and 14.
Mhm.
But when they were younger, they would come pick me up from work at Ross Bridge. Well, we lived in Inslee, and they seen the difference in the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
They didn't want to go to the park near Inslee. They wanted to go play at Ross Bridge Park because it was beautiful.
Mhm.
But everybody's outside,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They're outside walking, they're jogging, walking the dogs, exercising. Then when you come back to our side of town, there's rarely anybody outside exercising because there's trash, there's overgrown lots, there's this, there's that. So I think it's very important that we beautify our communities so people can get them back outside and get them healthy and active again, right? So that's on the community aspect
Yeah.
of what Life Touch is doing. And then with my therapist, my employees, I created a pathway to entrepreneurship. So what that looks like, I start to notice that I've had a lot of therapists trickle through Life Touch. And on average, they would work there a year and a half, 2 years, and then leave. So they would come there, and I felt used, right? I'm not gonna
Oh
lie, I'd
yeah.
be honest with you. I was like, y'all using the Life Touch brand, build up your clientele, and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of what I did at Ross Bridge, so I couldn't be mad.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Same
it's
here.
like, yeah, it's like you can't be mad at that. That's the process.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, you hear people, they was like, well, you should have them do a non-compete. That stuff doesn't matter because you really can't really enforce it, right?
Right. Because as soon
And I
as that
said, you know what?
contract is over, they're just going to leave. There's no difference of them going from
Right.
this spot to this spot because that contract is only, unless it's a session to session, then it don't matter. You can't really control because what they're neglecting, not to cut you off, but what they're neglecting to realize is that the client is the one that has the power. The client is the one that's going to determine where they're going to go for their therapist.
Yeah.
And you can't tell.
I was just about to say that.
You know what I mean? You can't tell a whole nother entity or person just because they was there. You can't work on that person because you worked on them here.
Right.
First of all, how you going to know? Because you're not going to you don't have access to my books. You don't have no authority to my books. You don't have any authority in my scheduling, any authority in... We could go on and on about that, but
take a deep breath, brother.
You know what I'm saying? It goes deep. It goes deep. It goes. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot I got a lot of wisdom with it. These 3 years has been war, but at the same time, there's so much to it. Long story short, is at the client's discretion.
Right. Right. So I was like, you know what? These employees will leave, and then I will see them struggle to open their own businesses. And I came to realize what was happening. They thought it was easy for me because it looks easy.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. They didn't realize all the years that I've worked prior to opening Life Touch, building the brand.
Yeah.
They was like, oh, all these people come to Life Touch, they'll come to me like this. Not necessarily.
No.
Not if you're not at Life Touch, we're really intentional about the experience that we provide. Mm-hmm. It's all about the experience, and I learned that from working at a Marriott. Yeah. So once I started to realize that, I was like, okay, well, my next group of employees, I'm gonna do things differently. I'm say, hey, you come and work for Life Touch for 2 years, and I will guide you on how to open your own business the right way. Right? I've seen other people just doing things so wrong. Mm-hmm. So wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It goes back into they didn't know what all I went through. They didn't know that I took several business classes and still take them. Mm-hmm. right? I
Yeah.
just finished another one.
Mhm.
And it was like a lot of them don't realize that you have to invest in yourself and personal development so that you can know how to run a business.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people become massage therapists because they're like, oh, I can go out here and work on my own. Okay, yes, you
Mm.
can. But if you don't do it the right way, you will still find yourself struggling, and you'll find yourself actually making less than you would have if you worked for a job.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that led me to create a pathway to entrepreneurship for my employees now. And what that looks like is we have a detailed map out. It's mapped out as to what you'll learn within each quarter, and we'll go from there. I pay for all the training, any kind of trainings that we have. I pay for that. We partner with a local physician, a
Mm-hmm.
local black physician, so we pay for their primary health care insurance, and then you still get paid time off and stuff like that too. So that's something that, because I'm a massage therapist and owner,
Mm-hmm.
it's different from working for somebody who is not,
Right.
who was not a massage therapist or doesn't really know anything about the industry.
Yeah.
And I found that even when I worked for the resort,
Mhm.
the people that they hired were not of our profession.
Yes.
So some of the rules that they made didn't make sense to us, and it always caused clashes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't say, the only thing that I require is that we do a foot bath at the beginning of every service. That's our staple.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, you're an artist. I don't expect your Swedish massage to look like my Swedish massage.
Exactly.
I can't tell you if somebody came right now on this live and said, "Hey, I want both of y'all to draw a cat." We both may hold up a cat, but they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna look completely different, right?
Completely. Completely.
And so I respect the massage therapist as artists, and I might show you a technique, but that doesn't mean you have to do it the same way I do
Exactly. It's
it.
all about
So
yes.
it's
Yes.
it's about being a creative. You're a creative.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't look at us that way. Oh, you're a massage therapist, or this is what you do. We're creatives. We're artists.
Mm-hmm.
Our
Mm-hmm.
canvas is the human body.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I respect that about all of our therapists.
Yes, man. Oh,
Hmm.
that's y'all don't understand. That's impact. That's impact. Because so much gems you just said there. So much
Hmm.
knowledge, so much wisdom. What we do, like you said, it's not easy. And I'm
Hmm.
constantly, as I create, I'm in that same mindset. What can I do to not only educate the community, educate humanity? Can get even bigger than that when you really think about, hospitals and corporates and everything like that. Like you said, they're not of our profession. They're just running a business with our using us as a theme, right?
Hmm.
Versus understanding what it takes to be a massage therapist. So
Right.
anybody, yes, can rub a body, but we got to
Hmm.
first get out of the notion of it's just a luxury rub. Anybody can
Yeah.
put lotion on themselves, but are you
Hmm.
getting results? Are you tailoring to the needs of that client? For what they need help with? Are you creating relief? Are you making a change? Because yes, there's relaxation in it, but it's way deeper than that. It needs to
Yeah.
become a
Yeah.
lifestyle. It needs to become part of your
Hmm.
self care. I believe, my
Hmm.
opinion. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do,
Yeah. And it can
but
be spiritual too.
very spiritual, mind, body, and so
Hmm.
all of this connects on the one of, to me, the deepest connections you can even have on this planet. And your
Hmm.
artist who comes in with their skills and that technique. That's why we invest in ourselves so much. That's why we're studying so much. That's why we're trying to learn the business, because business is forever changing. Here eggs is
Right.
like $4. The economy is still growing. You know what I mean? Like it's so
Yeah. Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
It's so you got to keep up with it, and you can't
Yeah.
expect what was working 5 years ago to work now. You may have
Yeah.
the consistent loyalty uh, clientele, but if you're looking for growth, you got to evolve with everybody else, because technically
Mm-hmm.
speaking, that clientele, everybody, we all have a transition date. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? So no matter how
Yeah.
long something may happen, they may not be able to this. You never know what's going to happen to anyone, even yourself.
Right.
So
Mhm.
how do you
That's
build,
true.
something that in case something happened to you, you can keep going. So in case something happened to that client, you can keep going. In case you need more clientele, in case clients leave and find someone to better suit them, which is fine, because part of what we do is to help them heal. You don't want to, I would like to work on my clients as much as possible. But the object of self-care is to get them to the point. We're not trying to treat symptoms. We're trying to heal the body, right? We're trying to facilitate what needed to relieve this pressure, to get rid of this problem that they've been having for 10 years. Even if it takes us 10 months to do it, we got rid of it. And then they may not need massage, but to continue, because I was always say they will need massage as far as to kind of help, lower blood pressure, help relieve the common stress factors. We can still play a role here.
Right.
But some may come and be like, look, this is bothering me. I need this help. We fix that. Okay, that's all I needed. Okay. But we can still help you. So it comes with all that, and the things that you are doing to impact the community, to just building your own team, to the olive branch, and teaching people and paying for them, to get continual education courses and training and teaching them the business aspect as you're doing it, man. That's huge.
Yeah.
I was thinking about something similar to that like last year, and I was like, I'm nowhere near that yet, because where I am is in similar type of environment. This place is called Sola. If you know, it's more tailored towards the salon.
Yeah, we have them here.
Yep. So that's where I'm in my little studio here, and everybody had their own thing. But I was just thinking the other day, I was like, there's nothing that really, even though I'm here, nobody really knows I'm here. So that's more work I got to do to get people here to come.
Yeah, because you can't put like signs outside the building.
Exactly. Nobody knows. Right. So you can imagine, for me to be booming and actually doing well for myself, the work it took in an environment place like this. And thanks to all my, I don't want necessarily coworker, but co-business entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They do a good job relating, because they also talk to their clients, and the clients open up with them as well. Oh, I got a massage therapist that can help you with that. So we do a lot of stuff, but it goes back to like, there's nothing, you're the only one that I know that has some type of blueprint to tailor to the self-care. There's all kinds of stuff like this, like Sola, but what about the self-care, the chiropractors, the something like this format for all the self-care industry, even if it's just the licensed massage therapist to start off, but you got sound healers, you got energy workers, you got chiropractors, you got acupuncture, you got, what about a hub for just well-being?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, we can bring barbers and everything too. The image is important, but let's put this well-being in front line. So when you come here, you looking to get some help. You know what I mean? And that you're the closest one doing anything similar to that.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. That goes into your next question. You was asking me about the olive branch. And I think that's where you were going with that.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
So what the olive branch is, so I created the olive branch, Mind and Body Suites. So my wife is a mental health therapist. She's a licensed professional counselor. And we're always talking about the connection between the mind and the body, right? And even in your profession, you've probably have a network of counselors that you send your clients to, because when people get on our table, we are like therapists, right? They reveal so much to us. So we're not licensed professional counselors, but you say, hey, you know what? This is beyond my scope of practice, but I would like to send you here. So what I did was I created I bought a building last year, a commercial building, and created the Olive Branch Mind and Body Suites. It is a co-working space for health and wellness professionals. So on one side, you have all the bodywork professionals. We have myself, massage therapist, as this is actually Life Touch second location here. And then we have an esthetician over here. We have 2 yoga therapists. So they do individual yoga
Mm-hmm.
with their clients. We have a person that does yoni steams, and I think that's it right now. But we just opened in October of 2022. So we're looking to build the memberships. So we have the esthetician, she released out some spaces, permanent lease. And then on the mind, what we call the mind work side, there are licensed professional counselors over there. And we have about 6 over there on that side. So the whole idea is that we work with these clients to provide all of their mental and physical health needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
When these people come in, our clients come in and they're dealing with this issue, they don't have to come get a massage here, then go all the way across town to go see their therapist. We actually have clients who take mental health days. They come over and see their therapist and come get a massage. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then they're like, that is the purpose of this. So we can work together as professionals
Mm-hmm.
to also help them meet their goals and becoming mentally well, and then also give the clients convenience of everything being right here in one place. We're working now to find a space to provide yoga, because I took my staff. We got trained I was already trained in Thai yoga,
Mhm.
but I also took the training with them. We did Vedic Thai yoga training about a month ago. Was it January? It was December. Yeah.
Hmm.
So about a month ago, we
Okay.
did the Vedic Thai yoga training to incorporate that into our massage practice. And then we just came back last night actually from doTERRA training. So we've been using essential oils. I think you use Young Living, right? I seen that you
Yep.
use
Young
essential
living.
oils.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we
Raindrop
use
therapy coming soon. Working on it.
yeah. So we just got certified in Aroma Touch. So it's very similar to the raindrop therapy technique. That's
Nice.
doTERRA's. Pretty much same thing.
Yeah.
So we went to Lexington, Kentucky, stayed in this big house with all the doTERRA folks with 30 people, brought the staff with me. And that's all part of them learning the business
Mm-hmm.
of creating another revenue stream for yourself
Mm-hmm.
that, you won't have to, you can make money without always just having your hands on somebody. Right. So, that's what this is all about, man. And that's the Olive Branch is also the name I came up with because it's like, we want to be that place of peace for the community.
Yes.
And I put it in the Black community
Yes.
because it's like, where are our spaces?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was very unique for me. And now I'm trying to fill the gap because I see a lot of Black yoga instructors with nowhere to have classes.
Mm-hmm.
So right now they might have classes outside or they might go to a gym. They're always having classes in these different spaces. And I said, well, what if I can create a space for them and for our clients?
Yeah.
And make that a part of this whole thing that we're doing. Just trying to bring peace and wellness to our communities.
We need it. We need it the most.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not saying
Oh.
all the trauma and everything. We need it the most. And that's
yes.
huge. I hope y'all hear it. Huge. We need more of this. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
One thing is, going back a little further where you were talking about people see this as some may see as opportunity. Oh, I can just do massage and do this like it was easy. That you were mentioning that people think it's easy, not understanding the work that you put in. One thing is, if you truly like what you do and you get into this and you fall in love with it, I becomes we, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think about what you can accomplish as far as for self gain. You think about what you can
Mm-hmm.
accomplish into the community. And like you were saying before, this is an avenue of creating that education, bringing, because there's so many of us that don't know anything. Like if you in Alabama, hey, if you ain't there at the Olive Branch, you ain't there at Life Touch Massage. Y'all need to go there. This is what this is for. Is to
Yeah.
bring.
LifeTouchAL.com.
I'm gonna put it all the way down there. I'm gonna put all the
Shout
links
out.
in the description. Click on it. Get your service. Get your healing. Get your peace. Because not because we all the drama and everything we got through. Of course, of humanity, just this is a tough time for everybody with the COVID and everything like that. But oh my
Right.
gosh, even with COVID, we were still getting okay. So we need more of this everywhere. And this is one of the avenues that I said time and time again to bring as many people forward that are doing the work to educate, to show why you need this, what you can do, where, all types of things. One thing I would like to build up to, kind of going off of the Olive Branch, it's not just that. I was thinking about how I can make things bigger. And one of the things that I'm working on is doing like a big peace wellness retreat. Okay. I got to build up to that.
Send me the invite.
Yes. But that's one of another avenue of bringing everybody together, talking with, individuals like you and other healers. Because eventually what's coming, y'all, I'm working on it, is bringing us all together and do a big, massive humanity, all walks of life are welcome. But big, massive healing event. You know how they got ads, go to Orlando or go to Vegas, all these resorts and 4 days, 3 nights and putt-putts and all that. We need something like that wellness wise. We need something like that self-care wise. And that's something that I see going to the future, what leads me to ask you, where do you see self-care, massage therapy, just self-care in general? Where do you see that in 5 years from now? Do you see a trend? Do you see a growth? Do you see being better? Do you see however? Like where do you see it in 5, maybe even 10 years from now?
So our profession is actually growing faster than, I think it's like 20% faster than any other profession.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, there must be a need for it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So in the future, man, massage is norm. Is the norm. I'm starting to see more people taking the holistic route than trusting doctors.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know what? Instead of this headache, what I also see as the norm is that doctors being educated to the point to say, you just need to go get a massage.
That's a big one.
I see that being normalized. You need to start going to get a massage. And also with people like you and I that's getting deeper and more knowledgeable about essential oils, is that we start to make our clients be more aware of the benefits and what these oils can do for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So now the trend is that we already see more and more people getting mental health services.
Mm-hmm.
They are, I just said my wife is a mental health therapist. Her friends is another Black guy. They are getting so booked that they're at capacity. You know what I mean? So it's like, we're starting to see people doing this younger and younger. My son, my oldest son, we started him at 15. He just came to us one day and was like, hey, I feel like I need to talk to somebody other than y'all. We was like, bet, got him a therapist. So now I think it's all of this is becoming more and more normal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really good for our profession because people are starting to see the holistic benefits of not being on all these medications or not, with all these really bad side effects, but also prioritizing counseling, prioritizing massage therapy and all of these other holistic routes to heal themselves. So that's what I see in the next 5 years, man. I see you doing this event.
Oh yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
blowing this just like everybody's mind.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
I'm
you
like,
there.
oh
You're there.
man.
You already know.
So
You know, you
and
make it on the show. I
yeah,
need you.
yeah.
Because
So
what
I that's what I see, bro.
yeah. And it's funny to say how um massage therapy and holistic practices are just now starting to become normalized, right?
Hmm.
Is but what we've been doing has been around for thousands and thousands of years. Um,
Yeah.
but a lot of people didn't wasn't educated about it, or it wasn't. It was kind of even to the part like what you said, where doctors are starting to say, "Hey, go get you a massage." That was huge because they still got the game on the headlock, right?
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
thinking when something's wrong, I need to go see my doctor. And it's like, to me, I think if we can get the us to think, let me go get a massage or go see a chiropractor first
Hmm.
to see what they can do. If we can get
Right.
that mindset just to shift, of course, some
Hmm.
things we can't replace, but a lot of things we can help with. And if we can
Oh
get
yeah.
that switch in the mindset of everyone, let me go get a massage. Oh my gosh, my head's killing
Hmm.
me. Let me go get a massage. I got a problem with with my joint. Let me go look at my chiropractor real quick. You know what I mean? My knee hurt. Let me go see my
Right.
chiropractor.
Right. Right.
Or that may be a muscle problem that has tension or hypertension. You know what I mean? If we can just shift it just a little bit, there's so much more we can do. And with essential oils and herbs, there's
Yeah.
herbalists out here,
Yeah. Yeah.
that can help instead of thinking or taking pills or medication. Maybe there's a certain herb that can help you lower that down, or to
Hmm.
help you or replenish some body organs there. Like, it can go as far as that. But if you don't know that, you know what I mean? This is why we got to come together. And not just, and I mean, talking about the event, a week long event, maybe where we can rest. We can
Yeah.
actually enjoy
Yeah.
one's company before we get to work and do big
Yeah.
things. You know what I mean? So
Right.
like a
Right.
double
Got to
thing,
put
like,
that
hey,
rest
how's it
part in
doing?
there, cause
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Where we can just
Yeah.
work together. This is what I mean about forming the Avengers. If you've heard on a future podcast show,
Yeah. I
bringing
have.
everybody together, one
Hmm.
big massive event, get a resort, and we have the clientele, whatever, whatnot, to do what we got to do. They're coming last 4 to 3 days, or however. You ain't got to work all of them, or you ain't got to work it all. I mean, but the whole idea is to bring us together to put in work, but to
Yeah.
start off with being able to come together, meet everyone, because it can also get lonely out here. It
Oh
also
yeah.
can get to the point where you feel like it's just you doing it. You feel like it's just,
Hmm.
like we all we got. It's like, no, it's multiple of us there, but we're in our own grid, we're in our own state, we're in our own community. That is
So
hard to, huh?
let me ask you this then. Is this like your outlet to reach out to
One of
other
them,
therapists?
one of them,
Yeah.
the outlet to
Yeah.
to
Because I've
to.
been in that space. Well, I had my own space.
Mhm.
It does get really lonely, and that's one of my pitch points to a lot of people who may want to join Life Touch or the Olive Branch,
Mhm.
is that you don't have to be lonely
Right.
because there's a community right here. Because we have spaces here that are available by the hour or by the day that you can rent out. If you're not really ready to like fully jump out there with a lease,
Mhm.
solar salons are expensive. And so it's like, if you're not ready for that, then have your client pay the deposit, which pays for the rental space, and then the rest is yours.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's
Yep.
like, and meet your clients in a really comfortable space. So that's the whole point of the Olive Branch, is have the people that are in those lonely spaces to give them community.
Mhm.
You
Yep. You said it. It's very expensive. And just imagine, y'all don't understand the work we've been putting in. We have our
yeah,
different stories, but the work,
yeah,
y'all don't understand. Well,
yeah.
but
It's the
the
work.
good thing is, staying true. Like when I started, I only had like maybe like 20 people, right? I didn't have many at all, and half
Mm-hmm.
of them was here and there, right? So it was like, okay, we just got to go to work, and this is where those courses come in. That goes where the training and marketing and trying to make sure you're able to retain a client. It's easy. Well, it's not easy. It's not as hard to get a client.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on, what type of run. You can go to Groupon, meaning that, what I mean? You can go to any of
Yeah.
these deals, but understand the mindset if you go to Groupon or any of, a discounted service, that most of the time, everybody that's using those discounted service, or a lot of people that's using those discounted services, are looking for discounts. Okay.
Right.
Meaning once they
And
come to
tell them won't
you
come back.
and they got you on a discount and they do that and you do a great job, or you do the service, that doesn't mean you'll retain them and be like, okay, my prices is really this. They're gonna be like, nah, I'm gonna go back to where I found you the first time. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, it takes discipline, it takes work, it takes a lot, and it's not easy just because you can do the service. You got to find your clientele. There's a certain amount of people that you're able to work with and everything. So yeah, this, the
Mm-hmm.
segue also to the question, this is one of my outlets to reach out and connect to everyone really on a global level. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
global with this, but I'm starting
That's what's
in
up.
town and I'm reaching for where I can
Mm-hmm.
reach to. And we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep spreading it so we can eventually bring this big event to everybody once or twice a year. That we can let our hair
Yeah.
down and actually have a good time and just be of one of like service and build things like what you're doing in Bama, and just any other ideas, because we are in need right now and the demand is
Yeah.
going up. It's growing faster
It
than we
is.
can keep up with. I can only do 100 sessions a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, and that's with my schedule. That means only 100 people. There's trillions and billions of people in the world, and like you said, when you love it, or like I said, when you love it, it's no longer I can't do it by myself. So I need
Right.
as many people that are on the same accord of, even if, of course, it's their way, like, because we all artists, or this is art what we do. Even though how you explain it better. Uh, you know, we all do what we do, and as we come and join
Yeah.
hands, because now that the world is getting more into, or I can't speak on other overseas because I haven't talked to overseas or Eastern world yet, even
Mm-hmm.
though this is where it came from. The Western world, America, is starting to get on game. I should say we were
Yeah.
starting
Yeah. Yeah.
to be educated about this. So yeah, man,
Mm-hmm.
that's what's something that you've discovered. Let's go two ways. What's something that you've discovered as an entrepreneur that
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people may not realize or may not have thought of, or something that kind of took you by surprise? And that goes into two ways: for the entrepreneur and for or entrepreneur or licensed massage therapist, etc., as you do your business, and for the client side of it, something you wasn't expecting on the client side.
So on the business side,
Mm-hmm.
massage business side of it, um, I didn't realize that a lot of banks don't respect our profession
Mm-hmm.
until they see the money.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend of mine who's a banker,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, there are certain professions that banks don't like to lend to, and depending on what bank you're with, they might not lend to you
Really?
because you're a massage therapist. Some of them look at there's like a scale or a risk scale.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the name of it. And he explained to me, this was years ago, but basically his bank um, was one of them that they didn't really like to lend to people in the massage therapy profession. And you might have heard that for like um, what other professions, like those cash to go places, or those
Yeah.
um,
Cash loans, easy loans, stuff like
cash
that.
loan, yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
strip clubs,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
They don't. So, that was one thing that surprised me. You really have to prove yourself with the numbers,
Mhm.
and then go back to these banks and say, "Hey, I'm worthy. Look at these
Mhm.
numbers." So that was one reason that I built a team too, because the spa industry is a $1 billion industry,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But when you go to a banker, I don't know how it is with you there.
Mhm.
A lot of times you're speaking to a white male or someone a male, right?
Mhm.
And they are not, either they don't get massage or they don't understand the business of massage, right?
Right.
They look at you especially if you're a loan therapist, and
Mhm.
you're like, okay, what are we looking at? I remember I went to the first bank I went to. Um, I took my business plan in there because I took this business class, and you know, people always think that you have to have a business plan. You
Mhm.
don't.
Mhm.
The business plan is more for you.
Right.
It's good to have one to map out your plan and to write things down,
Yeah.
because what I've learned is that when you write it down, it comes to fruition,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But the business plan is your roadmap. They want
Mhm.
to see numbers. The lady
Exactly.
did not look at my business plan, period. And she denied me within the first 5 minutes. I was like, you didn't ask me anything.
What?
Like, you didn't ask me not one question. Right? And I was like, what is this?
Mhm.
So then I went to a black bank here. They was like, okay, you bank with us for a year so we could see what everything looks like and blah, blah, blah. Boom. Did that. Opened an account there, went there, got back. The banker, I don't want to put him on blast
Mhm.
because if somebody sees this, they're going to know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
But um, didn't take us seriously, right?
Right.
Didn't take the massage. So I don't know if it was because I was a young black man trying to come in and say, hey, I want to get a loan for this so I can do this. They didn't see that.
Mhm.
They didn't see that prospering. So I had to take other measures and just build, continue to build, and get the numbers up. And that's when they realized that, oh, he's trying to do something.
Mhm.
And he's making money
Mhm.
doing it. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So that was one thing that was a surprise to me. I thought it was gonna be a little easier. Like, oh, we got money in the account. I gonna get a loan? Nah, you
Right.
know.
Right.
Um, and I forgot what was the second part
Oh,
you
the
asked me.
client side, like the client relation or customer or client to
So
therapist. Yeah.
one thing that surprised me there, and I meant to mention this earlier, when you're talking about clients coming in for pain and stuff like that.
Mhm.
A lot of clients come in for intimacy,
Okay.
and not meaning that in a negative way at all.
Right. Right. Right.
I don't know who you have your insurance through. I'm with ABNP, right?
AMTA.
Uh, okay.
Yeah. The other
So
side. Right.
there was a they so ABNP just put out a magazine, the Massage and Bodywork magazine. It was an incredible article in there about intimate touch and not feeling guilty as the therapist in receiving just like your clients,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a part of us that enjoys what we do because of the touch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what surprised me was that how many clients come to us just to have that cup filled. So either their spouse is not an intimate type person or touchy feely person,
Mm-hmm.
um, they are single, or they're recently divorced, or whatever. Whatever reasons they're not, that cup is not being filled with inside of them. We know that the skin is the largest organ on the body and it is fed through touch,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
We're no different from any other animal. Like cats, they want to get rubbed, and dogs, they want to get. So do human beings.
Yeah. It's a love language.
And we have some human beings that don't like it, and something wrong with them people. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, that can be
But
some trauma that can lead to all kinds of other stuff.
yeah,
There's like
oh,
that
really?
personal space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But there's an existing and a large amount of people, and the research is there. There's a book I read called Touch, and I'm trying to remember the author's name. but he was a doctor at some really big hospital. He did a lot of research on
Mhm.
just touch in general, not massage touch, whatever, just touch.
Wow.
And all these statistics, even from Tiffany Fields,
Mhm.
she works at the Miami Touch Research Institute, right?
Mhm.
Um, you heard of Tiffany
Mhm.
Fields? Yeah, so she's
Briefly,
very
but
popular
I came
in
across that name
yeah.
a couple of times.
But the science of touch is amazing,
Yeah.
and especially after COVID, post COVID, it's like an explosion of all these therapists being so busy.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of a sudden, therapists are quitting their jobs left and right. It's hard to find a massage therapist to hire
Yeah.
because everybody wants to have their own business,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's an explosion of people needing touch.
Yes.
Now, there's a negative side to that,
Very.
and that's a side that I didn't see that I didn't think that we were going to have to deal with. And I heard you speak about this on another podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all the people who are coming out on Instagram just rubbing booties
Mm-hmm.
and getting 300, 500,000 followers traveling around that are unlicensed
Mm-hmm.
and kind of making our profession look bad,
Very.
right?
Very.
So that's the side I didn't see. That was a surprise
Mm-hmm.
for me. Um, and I was like, wow, like people are so touch thirsty that they don't care where they get it from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
And I think I sat on the board here at the Alabama Board of Massage Therapy for 5 years. And on the last year, I was board chair. And so I learned about a lot of human trafficking and all that stuff here. And very eye opening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it just surprises me how people really don't, some people really don't care. Now, we have to do our part as licensed professionals
Mm-hmm.
to educate clients on what to look for because a lot of times they don't know.
Right.
They'll see somebody post something on social media and they be like, and you probably experienced this when on your Facebook, people are like, I'm looking for a massage therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And they start tagging all these people that you know are not licensed. Right.
Exactly.
And it's
All the
just
time.
like,
No, you don't
so
want
what
that.
do we do as the licensed professional?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a group, besides the group that we're in together, I'm in another group, just a local massage therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them the other day, I was like, what are we doing to end this? Like, we got to stop doing. You have some licensed therapists that are doing events with unlicensed therapists. Like, stop.
You know what I
Like,
mean?
let's not do that.
Yeah.
You know,
You got to draw the
so
line.
we got to draw the line. I know they might be your friend, and this is what I compared it to. I said, you might be in a fraternity or sorority.
Hmm.
If you see somebody else out there claiming your fraternity or sorority, you're not going to let them. Right?
Exactly. Yes.
Like, why would you let somebody go out here and claim a profession that you work so hard for, right?
Right.
And not say anything.
Right.
You don't say anything. Like, if you know them, say something to them. Like, bro, sis, you can't be out here doing this. I work too hard for this.
You know what I mean?
Now, yeah, so I think that's one thing that, I didn't see in our profession, like the Instagram. What do we call them? Like, I don't even know what to call them, but
Yeah, I have no idea
yeah.
as far as what to call, but yeah, it's because it makes our job a lot more tougher because, of course, the way to look at it, because we went through nights and studying and boards, and the work we put in is that is the reason why to say something, because they're just out here rubbing booties, right?
Yeah,
We're actually
right,
trying to help low back pain. We're actually, because we do glute
right,
work, but it's a certain way to go
yeah,
about it, like you said.
mm-hmm,
And that part is where it kind of goes back to what you're saying, touch thirsty, where if they see
mm-hmm,
inappropriate, they'll gravitate. A lot of people may gravitate. I should say it that way. A lot of people may gravitate towards what looks entertaining, more than the
Mhm.
actual benefits of actually getting correct, proper glute work, right? So
Right.
it even gets to the
Mhm.
point. So if we showcase proper glute work, they'll think we doing what over
Yeah.
here is happening because they're so used to seeing what's
Right.
happening over here. And it's like, no, I'm trying to
Yeah.
help the back. This, let me educate you. The glutes, they have the lower back. You got a
Yeah.
piriformis. It may be, once you start, I don't want to talk too much jargon, because you got that
Yeah.
pseudo
But that's why I
sciatica with the false
appreciate.
sciatica, with the
Yeah.
piriformis muscle that attaches to the greater trochanter all the way up to the sacrum that hits that nerve to squeeze down. We can go into this now.
Yeah.
We got the
Yeah.
education on it. But what y'all seeing is just all of this. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, effleurage is great, but and I got an episode that I talk about techniques and the difference from what you're seeing to what can actually be used. And then once and educated what actually can be used from vibration, from Topotman and a different level of percussion and the
Mhm.
Topotman and the durations and all this stuff and superficial friction and all kinds of there's so many other
Mhm.
things that we use that you only know this small aspect of it. But if you are known this, you'll feel gypped. Like, wait a minute, you just
Mhm.
rubbed my arm. You ain't really helping me. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But
Yeah.
everybody wants the entertainment that's not professional aspect of it. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? That's the unique part that is mind blowing to me too. Because yes,
Yeah.
we want to educate on the glutes and to show how important it being a part of your core and how it can help with lower back pain, how it can help with hips, how it can help with, getting into those mostly like glute medius or minimus, and getting
Mhm.
into those to really help out with, some rotation or some hip point joint, it may be attachment of deep work. It makes us not really want to put that stuff out there because
Mhm.
eventually they're going to end up seeing they'll start comparing. And I did that. And that's another show that I had where, someone was like, why do you have her? Like, why are you working on her glutes like that? All that stuff. And it's like, well, I'm trying to help her lower back. A lot of my clients have
Yeah.
low back pains and shoulders. That's just common.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's everybody can get their low back, the whole back, but especially the
Mhm.
lower and their upper back, between, the vertebrae and the scapula, the rhomboids minor and major. We can go all into that. But, you can
Mhm.
get all that stuff worked on because we all got problems. It's where a lot of stress happens in just our day-to-day life in society. But
Yeah.
it's crazy, you shouldn't be going to a therapist and he has a bubble bath waiting on you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Those are the things where it's like, no, now that's too much. But for some
But hold
reason,
on, because
that's where everybody's looking at.
I'm gonna interject right there though.
Mm-hmm.
What is too much?
That's a good
Because
question.
I'm going to so at Ross Bridge we did that.
The bubble
We have
bath?
a bath waiting on you. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
in
well,
a
they got
spa, but
Vinci showers.
it's a spa. No, it's actually a bathtub.
It's an actual bathtub. Interesting.
Yeah, couples bathtub. So I think it all depends on your needs. Because at Jeju, I don't know if you ever heard of Jeju or the
Mm-mm.
Korean spots where you can go in and they scrub you down fully. That's very popular now. So I
Oh.
don't want to minimize the way other cultures do things
Mm-hmm.
because in these years I've learned a lot and I'm still learning.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we can be too rigid,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, in the way that we do things that we exclude other ways of doing things. So like for instance, if we want to when you practice Thai yoga massage, one thing they do is that they pray to um they do a prayer like ceremony before you get on the mat, right? But a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times we do is take what we want from a culture and leave the other parts. And it can be disrespectful. It's like, oh, you want to take this, but it's the same thing that we say as black people is like, oh, you want to snatch this from our culture, but don't want to give any credit to this
Right.
part. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think all of those things can be done. It's the intention. behind everything that you do. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So I think it's about intentionality
Mm.
about everything that you do. Because I see some really good people out here providing work. There's a guy in Tennessee. He calls himself the King of Massage. I think that's his name of his business in Tennessee.
Mhm.
Look him up on Instagram. But this dude, and I like him, just like Body Joints. I
Mhm.
always reach out to therapists who are doing things the right way
Yeah.
and saying Hands of Fury. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
like, man, y'all doing things the right way. It's just like you can still get all these followers without having to do things the wrong way. And you can tell when they're licensed professionals.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, when you cater, you can be, because I have a medical massage certification as well. So there's different realms you can jump into.
Mhm.
Like if I want to jump into medical massage realm, I can be straightforward, like almost like a doctor. You know
Right.
what I mean? When you
Right.
come in.
Right.
But if I stick straight to the Thai yoga realm, there's two things. Our instructor, he told us at the beginning of the class, which kind of threw us off a little bit. He said at the beginning of session, you need to first determine if this an intimate session or is this a professional session, and you can't intermingle it halfway.
Right.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
So there's a lot of aspects, and we have to become whole beings in what we do to realize the human nature of what we do is that people are seeking a certain amount of love,
Mhm. Right.
and by way of touch,
Right.
by way of counseling, by way of whatever that looks like, vibrational therapy,
Mhm.
by way of, but it all comes back to the ultimate thing is love.
Right.
They're trying to
Agree.
figure out how to love themselves. They're trying to receive love. They're trying to experience love. They're trying to um, get this from, because they're not getting it in their immediate environment,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So, like the whole bathtub thing,
Mhm.
they're kind of reminding me of that, because what I hear a lot from, especially women, is that they don't have space for themselves. If they have a husband, if they have kids, they have a career,
Mhm.
it's like there's so much being put on them. I hear from my wife. We actually had that discussion this morning. And right now I'm trying to work to see how I can do more, even though I feel like I'm doing the most.
Mhm.
Right? But
It's like
sometimes
you
it
got all
just
this. What
don't
you talking
like
about?
oh yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
but um I still hear her. I still have to hear her. Like, there's something that she's lacking that I need to do. And I need to figure out what that is. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So even a client you may rent out an Airbnb to have clients come there that have the perfect, because it's approaching Valentine's, and you're gonna see that a
Mhm.
lot of people doing this. Um, there might be a bathtub waiting,
Mm.
right?
Right.
And my massage table was in the other room. I'm not giving you a bath. You know what I'm saying? So
That's
all of
what I
that,
was
but
meaning.
there, yeah.
As far
But
as like,
even
yeah,
if
I
I
can
did,
understand like taking a bath
mhm,
and because
yeah,
that goes and feeds into um, the episode where I talk about what to do before and after. There's a certain part on there that
hmm
is pretty popular where I tell everybody before you get your massage to wash your ass.
yeah,
Right. So it can
that's
feed into
important.
that.
That's important.
It's very important.
Yes.
I break that all the way. You should check that out. I break that all the way down.
Ooh,
It's a
I
great
need to check
episode.
that out.
Yeah, that's
That's
like
important.
episode like 5 or 6 or something like that. Right.
Yeah,
So
I might need to send that episode to
yeah, I
somebody. I
send it
just
to you. I
messaged
got you. I'm gonna send it to you. I literally say because there was no other way to say it. I literally say, "Why she
yeah,
asked?"
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, yeah,
but that was the aspect as far as the tub because I know like there's a Russian bath session that they're not.
yeah,
There's no tubs or whatever, but over there in Russia they got like this. Isn't it Russia? It's overseas, and I seen it, and they got
yeah,
this guy that has like it looked like he's beating them up with a towel or something, and it's bubbles. I don't know. It's crazy, but he's not in the tub with them with their getting their backs and stuff. That was the
yeah,
aspect
yeah,
or the portion I was talking about of the bathtub of the therapist in the bathtub with them.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, that can take it too far. That is taking it too far to me. You know what I mean? As far as the therapist with them in the tub, or and trying to give them a massage with bubbles and roses and champagne, that can send off the bad image. But if you're talking about just a bathtub there, now that's for the couples, them and their significant other. Hey, whatever, you know what I mean? And if they're offering that, it's kind of like, huh? But if the therapist is there with that, is that's what they're doing down there? Or is that what you're saying? Like they got a tub at that one location, professional location?
Oh, where I used to work?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a couples tub. So we actually used to have a service that we would give them a mud wrap, right?
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
And then we would give them a mud wrap. We would have the tub. Everything is done in this one room. We would do the mud wrap on them or scrub. And then the tub would have bubbles, and it's a couples tub, right? So we would leave out, let them get in the tub. We let them do that for like 25 minutes, and they come back for a massage. It's called scrub, rub, and tub. That's what we used to call it.
Yeah.
The name of the service was something else.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I got a scrub, rub, and tub.
Right.
Then we also had a hydrotherapy table, the pod, with the showers and stuff on it. We would do the mud wrap in there.
Yeah, the Vichy showers and stuff.
That service was amazing. It was almost like a rebirth experience.
Oh yeah,
it's like you're really literally giving them a bath. So I guess we're going back on it,
right.
But we're not in there with them. But we know we got clothes on,
right?
But at the same time, it's like they're covered with towels. We taking loofah pads, getting all the mud off. Turn on the showers. Their head is out. We do a mud wrap on the face. Take it off. Massage the face really good. Turn the showers off. Dry them off. Come get the massage oil, moisturize them. Man, that sounded really good.
Oh yeah. That I have no problem with that. No problem with that. But actually, that's one of the things I want to learn is the Vichy showers. Even though that price sounds crazy. Shower you're trying to do? What's the Vichy? Is that like a certain type of soap? No, it's the table like you described, and it has shower heads over that usually aligns up with the chakras. There's different types of tables, and then they have all kinds of different. Some may have like light therapy or however that whatever table you have, but it's not the portion like you said. There's a tub, you got the mud wraps, everything. You go in there, you go do what you gotta do. We wait on you out here. We're not going in there with you. It's like, okay, you need me to help you with this? No, we're not doing any of those. So as far as that's just that one of those, which I'm glad we're having that conversation about it to explain. Oh, I didn't lock so if I turn this way, you see how I do this? I'm just now noticing how my camera's locked into me like this. I guess I put up a gestures. It's a new camera. This is the first time I'm using this. This is really nice. So if I want to come this way and talk about these chakras, you know what I'm saying? Just new technology. I'm just saying that I'm working on, just trying to improve stuff, right? But yeah,
like you got a cameraman in there.
I'm trying. I don't have to have it. This thing will do it's called the Insta360. Link. It would turn wherever in this room I go, it's going to follow me all the way around. Right? It's crazy.
That's cool.
So I think I accidentally did one of the gestures to lock on to me. But yeah, it's to have that conversation. Like that's a good question to bring up. And for those who are therapists, licensed massage therapists, put comments down here. Let's have a discussion about it. I mean, I think we all know it's too far, but at the same time, we may have slightly different perspectives.
There's definitely difference. There's difference of opinions, and I think it's because of lack of experience, one, and lack of culture, two, and the willingness to be open-minded about things that we're not used to. You know what I mean? So, and if you haven't experienced these things, then it's like, oh no, we shouldn't do that. I mean, you see it in massage groups all the time. People are like, oh, I can't believe they did that. Some people are like, oh, I don't massage directly on the glutes, or I don't uncover the glutes. I always massage the glutes through the sheet. You got people who got difference of opinions. I've seen that argument, man. It's just like, dude,
let's have that discussion.
It's the human body, like
that's it. Because I'm definitely undraping the glutes. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
because
gonna drape. I
I have a
gotta get in there.
friend.
Well, not like that.
I have a
But
friend. He's a massage therapist. Oh yeah, I got that.
pause. No, not like that.
Yeah,
I gotta work those muscles of the glutes. That's what I'm saying.
yeah. But I have a friend. He practiced Esalen, and he's been to the Esalen Institute a number of times, and now he's to the point where he can actually certify you as an Esalen practitioner. Well, they don't use drapes, so it's like, sometimes you have to be open minded to
Mhm.
how things are because of my lack of knowledge about Esalen. I
Mhm.
might look at that like, oh, they doing some freaky stuff,
Right, right.
but there may be a really good reason why they don't. You know what I mean? That I'm not aware of.
Mhm.
So I think, even at my practice, when people come in and my employees come in, we have a thing that um, be human.
Yeah,
That's our thing. Be human.
yeah.
And we tell people this the no judgment zone.
Hmm.
So feel free to say what you want to say and feel we're not judging you.
Yeah.
You're a human being and you have different experiences. My clients have taught me so much about so many different things that because of my limited experience on this earth that I had no idea about.
Hmm.
And I just don't judge them for it because I could say anything outside of the realm of what I know, I don't agree with.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Then that's just me being ignorant, really. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So, um, yeah, I don't think you'll ever get to the point where everybody agrees on that one thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially in our profession, because there's just so much
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is
What we
outside of our culture. Western culture is very rigid when you're comparing it to Eastern culture and what they do.
because Eastern is
Even
way different.
the whole yoni stings thing is like, oh my god, I can't
By
believe
itself.
you people are doing what.
Yeah.
And then my wife took a yoni steam certification class, and we learned all of this stuff. It was during the shutdown during COVID because we were trying to figure out what the hell we about to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was
Right.
shut down for 2 months,
Feeling like we
and it
on
was
punishment.
very scary. Yeah, it was scary, man. I thought I was gonna lose my business and all of that. But and when she took the certification class, she learned all these benefits of the yoni steam. Now she goes to get yoni steams.
Mm-hmm.
But on the outside looking in, you tell somebody, "Hey, you ever had a vaginal steam?" What?
Like, what?
I ain't doing. What's the point of doing that? You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right. It's like
it's
it can
just
help you.
about being educated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's about being educated to a lot of these things, man. And that's why I like talking to other therapists from different backgrounds, and and just talk it out. What I don't like talking to is people who are not open minded
Right.
about there's like anything outside of whatever they know is wrong. We'll be like, oh, okay, let's end this conversation. So
Right. Right. Like
yeah,
it's very what we call cookie cuttish. You know, it's a cookie
yeah,
cut, and
yeah.
it's like I'm open. That's one of the things. Like I was talking to the body joints about Lomi Lomi because that's one of the
Mm-hmm.
techniques that doesn't very very minimal draping, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm shaking this camera all the way up, but very very minimum draping, right? But overseas, they don't even do draping at all on a lot of occasions.
Yeah.
It's straight there
Mm-hmm.
because they don't look at the same that look at the massage and what they do and the techniques they use the same way. And I think the key goes all the way back to what you said that nips it all in
Intention.
the bud altogether is the intention. What's the intention
Yeah.
behind it? And if your intention is
Mm-hmm.
pure, your intention is to help and you're open minded, you're always that's something you should be doing is how can a good therapist will always figure out how can they get better. If it's business, if it's to
Mm-hmm.
provide, your mindset should be like, this is good. You should never be content. How can I take this up to the next
Right.
level? How can I, get a bigger impact, a bigger response, a bigger results, quicker, et cetera, to be better, to be the best you can be, to provide the best service you can do. And you're not going to
Mm-hmm.
necessarily know that until you figure out what's out there one
Yeah.
aspect. You know what I mean? Really, and that's where that open mindedness coming from. There was this guy I watched one of my favorite videos for some reason. I really love this video, and he's on a highway over. I think he's in Thailand, right? He's on a highway. You can tell
Mm-hmm.
cars are just flying. Cars flying around, and he has this like this little mat here, and he's just sitting there on the side. You would think, it would look like he's kind of living there, but he's not. That's just where his service is, and he's providing cupping for $2 American. And as he goes by, you just see the cup. It just, usually is the guy who's showing a guy there, and the shirt was off. He was doing deportment and cupping. He did this little efforage, deportment, cup, doing this thing, and that dude felt amazing. And he's doing that. He's waving at the street, and then he's going back to work, but that's on the side. But to us, we may look like, wait a minute, is he licensed? Wait a minute, this is where all those closed-minded question comes in, because what he's doing is of service. He's helping this individual, but we don't know the circumstances or the case for him to do that. You know what I mean? And so it's like everybody had their different perspective. Everybody has what they had to go through. Everybody has their requirements, to do what we do. But the open-mindedness is what's going to help us evolve. We got to have those different perspectives. We got to have those questions. Let's have this conversation. Let's talk about it. That way, while more and more is coming to us for more holistic therapeutic sessions, we can, figure out the best way to help everybody. And if you can't, it's okay too. I know everybody wants to help every single body, but like I said before, everybody, I can work on anybody, but that doesn't mean I'm for everybody. So it's okay to refer to someone if you have to, like, hey, you know what? We're not getting results. Try this person out. And you're not going to know if that person.
People here for everybody, for us all. There's enough people for all of us.
Exactly.
So even when it comes to like some people, therapists are like, oh, this is competition. No. Like, no, if we'll do better working together.
Yeah.
Like, because there are things that you are really, really good at that I'm not. You know what I mean? So, somebody wants reflexology, I might send them to you because I'm not delved into that deeply. You know what I mean? So that might be your specialty. You might love working with athletes and I might not. You know what I mean? Exactly. So like athlete called me, hey, you need to go over here. That's my girl or that's my homeboy. They gonna take care of you,
Exactly. So, it's a big family. That's the way I see it. Man. We all family.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Helping everybody, man. Oh man, this has been incredible. I love this conversation, and I definitely got to bring you on the group sessions as well to have group conversations and make it even bigger. So we definitely want to keep things going.
Definitely do that.
Yeah. So I ain't trying to
the group, man. Try to propose that to Devonna in the group. And see.
Oh yeah.
Get something going.
Oh yeah, because here I can have up to 8. I believe I can have up to 8 people here at a time. I'll probably, I'll test it out. So I got a couple of ideas I'm gonna bring because I've talked to a lot, with you and, Sense Fuel. If you've seen that, Body Joints, bring everybody together and just had this big conversation and put out a couple of questions and just talk about it, see where everybody's at with it, and just grow from there. That's what this is all about. So definitely I don't want to take up too much time in your day. I'm here all day. We can go for a whole nother hour if you got the time, but I know you got business to run. Today is one of my days off, so I'm enjoying that. And
man, it must be nice.
Yeah, I'm trying. How
many days off do you usually take?
I really don't. I let the days off happen when they happen. Meaning, unless I have my boys, I'm going. And I feel, and this may be some knowledge for anybody who's listening. In this business, I've learned there's a wave. There's a time where it's booming. And then there's a time where it slows down. And normally, to me, it seems like one of the most common, this is only my second time, is January can be one of those slower months with everybody recovering from the holidays, but preparing for taxes, right? Getting their taxes back to invest in more. Another time may be summer. Summer may be a slower time for everybody, depending on. Oh, hold on. There we go. Hold on. I ain't muting nothing, did I? All right.
I hear
technically, you got me. Cool. See how that might just you see it follows. So, so
that's cool though.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like it. Like I said, it's the first time using it, but Summertime, it may be a lot of vacations happening for families. It may be a lot of traveling going on, which may cause you to slow down because you're in one location. They're trying to go to, Florida or California or, a resort, and you're still here wherever you are, if it's Alabama, if it's Indiana. So summertime may be a little slower. And usually by the time kids go back to school, because they dealt with 2 months, or parents, we deal with 2 months of, having the children, depending unless you're in a split household or wherever they may be. Usually August to September shoots back up, like, oh my gosh. So you got to learn how to ride the wave. And in those slow waves, you may get a day where you may not work that day. And to me, instead of stressing over that day, like, oh my gosh, I ain't got nobody to work here, whatever, this is a day where you need rest too. Read a book. This is time you can read a book for a couple of hours. It's time where you can do something that you couldn't do before, but make sure you get your day's rest in. So for me, at the moment, since I'm still getting started, my rest is usually a day like this where nobody is scheduled, due to whatever's going on, or kind of right after my boys, because I'm in a split household situation. So when I have my boys for the weekend, they go back to their moms. I had that Sunday night where I'm like, let me just relax. You know what I mean? So,
can I offer something to you?
Sure.
I believe that you will be to the point where there is no wave, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to that point, then you have to prepare for that by making time for yourself. And this is just, I'm letting you know this because you can't get the time back.
Right.
Like
exactly.
my kids are all teenagers and almost all out the house. I went through my grinding phase where I probably grinded too hard and missed soccer games and practices and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it looks good now, but some of that time I wish I had back,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't get it back, right?
Right.
And now I have to be disciplined to be off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
it's just like I have to take these days off, no matter what. And you're gonna get clients, because right now I don't have a wave, but I've been doing it 18 years. So people ask me like, well, how long did it take you for the wave to stop? It's just consistent. I really don't remember the year, to be honest, that happened. I think it might have happened while I was at Ross Bridge, but then it changed when you open your own business because some of those same people didn't come to Ross Bridge. So I can't remember how long it actually took, but now it's like I'm consistently booked. I'm actually booked to however I want to be booked. You know what I mean? So like if I open up an additional hour, it will book. You know what I'm saying? On any day, if I open up an additional hour, it will book because we have a waiting list. But I just want to offer to you to go ahead and just practice some of that discipline. And also what it does is it limits your time so that you train your clients to come when you're available, not when they're available.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now, because what happens is you start trying to chase their availability. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, I can't do that day. Can you do this time? You like, yeah, I come in. Yeah, come on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you weren't planning on going to work at that time, right?
Right.
So he was like, your Sunday is your chill, but she was like, I can only come Sunday at 7. And you like, shit, I need to get this money. All right. Next thing you know, she want to come on a regular basis Sunday at 7.
Right.
And now you're sacrificing time that you didn't have to sacrifice. Well, you sacrificed it somewhere. So now you got to take that. That's your rest time. You're sacrificing it to do this massage. Or that was time with the boys. And you sacrificing it to do these massages so you can get this regular client, right?
Right.
Yeah. They're going to come. There's a lot of people out there, and the clients are going to come. That one might not be, if she can't come Tuesday at 10 o'clock when you told her you was available, then I'm sorry.
Right.
You know what I mean? Maybe you need to, or if she wants to come to you that bad, she's going to find out a way to come to you on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock. I guarantee that
Right.
will happen.
Yes,
You know what
sir.
I'm saying? So
Yes,
I
sir.
would just say discipline, get your schedule disciplined now. So you train your clients
Hmm.
to come. Like when I switched to the olive branch, I changed my schedule again. And they was like, "Oh, you're not doing Saturdays?" I'm like, "Only when I feel like it."
Hmm.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like if it's a Saturday, I'm like, "Hey," and I'm looking out 3 weeks later, I want to come to work that Saturday. I'll
Right.
come to work that Saturday and be like, boom. But for the most part, no. Right?
Hmm.
Um, well, I can't come to, they give my front desk a hard time. They never give me a hard time.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Like, well, your client, she's mad, she's upset. She's like, she's just not gonna come back.
Hmm.
Cause
Like, okay.
you move over to the other location. She was like, she just can't do it. Well, she was just here. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yes,
She
sir.
could come
Yes,
to
sir.
I thought it
Definitely.
was too far.
I've.
Like,
Hmm.
no, it's not too far. It's just like, if you give quality service, let them go somewhere else.
Oh yeah.
And if they don't, it's like, they'll see like, oh, I
Hmm.
can't find that.
Right. Right.
So let me rearrange my schedule.
Hmm.
Now I will say, don't do that too many times because anybody will get frustrated,
Oh
right?
yeah. Right.
But it's
Right.
just like, you do have to train your clients to book when you're available and not when they're available.
Hmm. Yeah. I've noticed that, because I've been moving at a very high rate, right? Learning, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
constantly grind mode, right? So with that, I noticed a lot of things I got when I was at the corporate, and one thing that I didn't like is for my day to change. Once that day is set to where it is, that's the day. Now it may change as
Mm-hmm.
far as like somebody can't make it or whatever, but as far as adding, no. So one thing that I have
Yeah.
incorporated is I don't do same day appointments. It has to be the
Mm-hmm.
next day. That's one. That way I don't have to deal with that energy behind that, like you were saying, like, oh, I can
Yes.
only do
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
that's one. Two, when I have my boys, I shut this thing all the way down. It's
Mm-hmm.
blocked off. You can't schedule it. None of that. Like that's not happening. Right. So that's
Mm-hmm.
two. Three, in order to not get burnt out, this is a good thing for a burnout, for not to
Mm-hmm.
get burnt out, is I created a schedule that allows me to do about two, no more than three, if they book it right. It depends on them. 9 Eastern to 1 p.m. is my service
Mm-hmm.
time. I stop after
Oh
1.
wow, that's good.
So
Mm-hmm.
from 1 all the way down to about 4:30, that's my time. That's my time to
Mm-hmm.
recharge, eat, nap, whatever I need to do to enjoy the day, run bills, whatever. That's Monday through Friday. I do that.
Mm-hmm.
Then, once I'm recharged, I'm ready to go, I can do about 2 more usually. It's usually an average of 2. I usually
Mm-hmm.
do about 4 a day. That's pretty much the average, maybe
Mm-hmm.
3 or whatnot,
Yeah.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
I do that from 5 to 9, right? So depending on how it goes. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of how I schedule to try to keep me that way I can enjoy at least 5 days out of the week. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm either, with my boys on the weekend, or I may do like a 10 to 7 straight through, and then a light Sunday, like a 2 to 7 or a 2 to 6, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just 2 sessions
Mm-hmm.
where I get to, sleep in and actually rest a little bit. So that's kind of how I have
Mm-hmm.
my schedule set up for this moment to balance time without doing the and I'm just now, well, not just now, started mid last year, not booking appointments through the phone. You can
Mm-hmm.
text and have questions or whatever, but when it comes down to booking, I'm gonna send you to the website. That way
Mm-hmm.
I can avoid those, oh, I only got 7, the back and forth. It's like, well, look, here's the
Yeah. Yeah.
calendar. You can pick your
Book
time,
it.
whatever works, and you don't have to
Mm-hmm.
see if I have it available or not. You see it right here on the calendar.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
avoids that energy exchange of going back and forth. So, yes,
Mm-hmm.
definitely encouraged. But the one thing I have not implemented yet, outside of, just being with the boys and having that time, or taking advantage of a non-scheduled day, is having a consistent day off.
Mm-hmm.
That's something. So yes, I definitely will put that in the mental note, especially when it gets, because when you're really doing service, it's gonna go up. I know it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I'm so new at it. I'm going on the second year. This is a year and a half that I opened my doors. So it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
It takes discipline, it takes dedication, it takes, marketing.
Yes.
You got to do it all until you can build a team to help you with this. So everything I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing 100% dolo besides my accounting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's it. So yeah, I do have to take that time. But what I have been doing to kind of urge closer to that is going on vacation now. Actually travel, actually getting
Yeah.
away, shutting down,
Mm-hmm.
just taking some time there, and before I can get to a consistent, this is my day off. You know what I mean? Because then
Yeah.
with the boys taking advantage, traveling, I think for me at this point, at the moment, uh, it's enough to kind of stay balanced at the moment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's going to get to that point where I need a consistent day, and then once that happens, that's where teams and working towards be more, in a similar situation with you, having more around me to help me with the load, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of how I got everything set up this way up here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just try to offer that advice to anybody I can. You know what I'm saying? Anybody willing to receive, because I was in grind mode. I worked 6, 7 days too. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I know exactly what you mean, because it's like I got to
Yeah,
get these clients when I can get them. You know what I mean? So,
right. I
but I
definitely need
also
it.
learn from it.
I need it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I take when I for something like today. Oh yeah, I take full advantage. Full. This is my day off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this would be perfect with everything that's going on. So definitely, man, a lot of gems, a lot of nuggets. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it,
Yeah.
man. Is there anything else you want to talk about as far as like any?
I wanted to ask you something about the
Sure.
business side.
Uh huh.
As far as like, I don't know if we need to talk about this off camera or on camera, but it's
Yeah.
like your essential oil business side. I
Mm-hmm.
used to be with Young Living too, but I just never worked the program for real. I just kind of I bought oils and sold them to my clients. That's what I did. I
Mm-hmm.
bought them at wholesale and sold them to my clients. But I was gonna ask you, did you set up a whole separate business for yours?
Mm-mm.
Um,
Me, I integrated it in because I'm still at the integration process of it. What I would like to do is to come up with or to implement them into the massage session themselves. Maybe like like they have some type of like lavender essential oil or lavender massage oil base with lavender essential oil part of it, to
mhm,
be able to, if it works, if it lines up right. So I'm still dabbling. It's not all the way there yet. Like the raindrop therapy that technique that I'm working on will just be a session of service, and of
mhm,
course with the intake form to make sure there's no any difficulties or preventing clients from having that session. So it all depends on, I'm still working that out, but eventually I want it to be a part as one, so because whatever we put on our body, our skin absorbs, what I mean, and it can
yep,
go into
mhm,
the bloodstream and stuff. So if there's some thing, well, I don't want to use blood pressure because just our massage in general will lower blood pressure, but if there's something that can help as you get a massage, I would like to lean more towards that. So I'm still seeing
mhm,
how far I can go with it. I most likely would have to be maybe even putting it up here where, you can buy, some, maybe a spray to put on a pillow if you're having trouble sleeping, or, to kind of give the aromatherapy aspect of it, or,
mhm,
you know, just some different essential oils that can help you through your day and help with this and help with that. Most likely, I'm gonna try to put it into the service as much as possible. But once I get all the certifications and once I get it, and talk to, maybe some business, I may have to, especially as far as like selling essential oils, may have to do a separate um, business and just have it attached like a DBA or
Mm-hmm.
maybe a separate LLC that I join together. So I haven't got to that part yet, but I am working on it because I get a lot of requests about when are you going to do some essential oils type stuff. So
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we could go on and on, but I know, like, as far as like building business credit and stuff like that, I'm helping some other entrepreneurs that do that too, and that's one thing that we do at the Olive Branch as well. Is the business? Everybody over here has their own business,
Mm-hmm.
so helping them build their business credit, learning how to get a business credit card, learning how to leverage that with running your business. You know what I mean? So um,
Mm-hmm.
the reason I asked you that about the essential oils is that I just switched over to doTERRA. We use Young Living for years. Um, reason I switched, nothing to do with the grade of the oil or anything. I think they're both really good. But I have a friend of mine that's in doTERRA that's really high up, and she's really helping me to be up there where she is. So, but I didn't do that for my. I didn't create a separate business for Young
Right.
Living, and I didn't think about that until I started building my business credit. And I was like, we were at the retreat this past weekend, and I asked she's like a presidential diamond. And I asked her, and I was like, did you create a separate business? She's like, oh, yeah. She just said it so matter of factly. And there's 30 people in the room, and nobody thought to do that.
Mm.
She's like, everybody's like, you did? She's like, yeah, I created another LLC. So that way you get your credit cards, your business credit card for your essential oil business that pays for all of this stuff that's tax deductible and these retreats and all this other stuff. You can separate that from your other business. I was like,
Huh.
why in the hell didn't I think about that? You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
See,
So,
we need
yeah,
these
now that's what
conversations.
I'm doing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
so
think about
now
that
I'm
either.
planning on
I was going to do exactly what you did.
to
I'm
own other
trying to put it
business.
all together. But
Yeah,
if it's
and that's what we did. I
Mhm.
just sold it as retail and Life Touch, like part of the business.
That's it.
But I was like, this is literally a whole separate business.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's what I plan on doing now. So I just wanted to see if you had done that. That's all.
Yeah, that's something I'm definitely going to think about. One, because that leads
Yeah.
into like what you were saying. A little small side note off of that is one of the episodes where I was trying to do, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull it off. I was trying to bring a banker, have an episode with a banker to talk about more of the number side of it. To talk about more and very much in detail on things like, business credit, starting, if you have to start with a secure card, maybe with like a grand or two. There's things like Experian Boost where the rent that you pay, can help boost your credit. As far as your normal credit, because starting off with a business, you need at least 2 years of business, at least 2 years before they can even start looking at you as business credit. You know what I mean? Because then, like you said, there's a lot to prove when it comes down to them banks. The numbers got to be right. They want numbers.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't think about anything else. Stuff like I want to say what, IROTH, something like that, and then to build towards like a house, and then to try to get a personal credit loan, a PCL, all the way down to trustees and building trustees, businesses, and treasurers, and all of this stuff, like really get the format of that out. So here there's a bank. Here there's Huntington. I don't know if I can really say that or not, but Huntington for a small business, I think is a good start to go in and to have that conversation with them, even though, to see what information you can get. But the banker that really, really educated me did a great job. And I was seeing if I can bring her aboard, but, I don't want to risk her license or whatever, because, she started seeing what she can say, what she can't say, and all of that. And I wanted her to be just like we're talking now, like, no, tell us everything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
Tell us
definitely don't want to jeopardize her, but that's still something I'm trying to brew. Even if I can't, we're still trying to figure that out. But from a business or a banker standpoint of understanding which bank to go to start. You need a bank that specializes in whatever you're trying to do. You know, Bank of America is more commercial. If you're looking for a house, you may want to go with Chase more, or maybe PNC. If you're looking for, you know, a business to have that one-on-one connection, you may want to look into Huntington and really utilize where are you trying to go. And we think a bank is just a bank, which you can use it that way, but certain banks have certain benefits to help catapult you to where you go. Just there's sometimes we'll come across individuals like us in service industry that makes it a little bit more difficult because, you know, it goes along with what you said earlier. So that's something I'm trying to bring aboard. I may put that in a group to see if there's someone that can talk to us about the financial aspect side of it. To put that out there, to have that more of that conversation, and to help us with that. Like we need everything.
I think that's a great conversation, man. Because a lot of us just don't know. Like I was recently, a couple of years ago, just got into that and got a business credit card, and then I have another group that I'm a part of. It's called David Shan's Social Proof Podcast and the Morning Meetup. So we meet every morning. It's like 600-700 people in there, and that's all they do is give game. And you had to pay for it, but it was worth it because I mean, literally, like one hack that I just randomly heard on the podcast while he was interviewing. The guy was like, if you have a 700 credit score, go and apply for 6 American Express cards right now. I was like, man, I ain't about to do that.
Right.
I did it. And I got it. And I was like, instant, you talking about like $100,000 in business credit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you had to apply for it all at once. But it's all about no one knew to do that. He's like, you have to apply for it the same time. So you apply for this. I only did 3 because I was like, okay, I'm gonna just try this. I got approved for all 3, and I waited to the next day like a dummy to the other 3, and I didn't. I was like, damn it, why did I just do all 6?
Right.
But I've been good with the 3. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then you know at the time too, I was like, I don't know if I want a whole bunch of credit cards, but you know what I've learned just from all the classes that I've taken, they was like, it's good to have it and not need it, to need it and not have it.
Yes, sir.
And not be able to get it. You know what I mean? So, you know, I feel comfortable in my businesses because I got a little backup. You know what I mean? Just in case things go wrong or awry, or you know, we run into another health crisis and had to be shut down a month.
Right.
I ain't got to worry about going out of business. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because you got the credit there, you got the credit card. Leverage. You can swipe it over here, pay later. We're you know, especially with us, we're so taught to look at debt as a bad thing because we don't understand or really understand how to use it and how it can be a good thing.
The mindset.
Right? It's the whole mindset. And that's I'm working on it, man. You know what I mean? I really want to go into it and have those conversations financially, you know, for us. Because, you know, in episode 15 here, I've talked about how this turned into like a healing channel, a growth channel, being able to reach out and come across great individuals, great therapists like yourself and others. How this is way bigger. And I thought this was just going to be just talking about massages. Oh yeah, you know, you got the plantar fasciitis and all that, but this turned into a beacon, man. I mean, a beacon. And I'm like, okay, well, let's do it. And I think one of the conversations we definitely got to have. You're more welcome to join us, or if you know somebody that can give us that information or share that information with us, it's more than welcome. Is to really get on that aspect of understanding the financial portion of it, understanding not just business wise, but just in where to utilize it as where to go, and building up to things that we may not even thought about. You know, so you know, like the secure card to on all that.
Yeah. What I noticed that even this was my thing too. Like the fear of hiring an employee.
Oh
So a lot of times we just like, no, I'm going to hire an independent contractor because I don't want to be responsible for any of that stuff. But that all depends
yeah.
on what are your goals
Right.
for your business. Is your goal to have? Because I've learned, I started off doing that, independent contractors, but they're not employees. You can't say, hey, I need you to be at work. You know what I'm saying? You
Mhm.
can't say, hey, you don't have any clients, and they leave. They're like, well, I don't have anything. I'm going to leave for the rest of the day. I've learned that it's better to have employees than independent contractors. Now, I still use independent contractors for like mobile events,
Mhm.
but and sometimes they come in. I have some part-time people who are independent contractors. They come in and help out as necessary. But
Okay.
for the most part, my goal is to hire employees,
Mm.
and because you want to create a team, a unit. You want
Yeah.
everybody to wear the same thing. You want everybody to abide by the handbook and these guidelines and say, hey, this is the experience that we're going to provide.
Mhm.
And you don't want to seem flaky.
Right.
Like you're open this hour, you're not open that hour. And it's like, oh, all the I called this place one time to get a massage. And she was like, well, all the therapists left for the day because they didn't have anything on the book. I'm
What?
like,
What?
so, but they were all independent contractors. So they could just
Yeah.
like, hey, there's nothing on the books. I ain't got to come to work today, you know?
Right.
It's, so I think there's a fear that all of us have.
Mm-hmm.
There are employee taxes and there are things that you have to do when you get over 4 employees. You have to have workman's comp and all that stuff. But if the business is bringing in money, it'll pay for itself. And actually, it's not that big of a tax difference
Really?
when you have an independent contractor and the employee taxes. It's like you may pay a couple of $100 more to have an employee, just a couple. You know what I mean? But it's not that big of a difference to have someone that can come in and provide the culture that you want to provide. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
that can be a whole nother conversation,
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely to get into that because I haven't reached that point yet. I'm still debating on
hmm
how to do that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's definitely we're gonna have to definitely bring it back on that just alone. I mean, we could talk about way more
hmm
of that, but that's gonna, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because I don't even know if people even or how many therapists is even like you said. We're all scared. No, I don't want to say we all scared. You know, be like Bone Crusher. I ain't never scared, but you know,
Yeah. And
but
I ain't mean, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have used that term scared, but I think it's
maybe
because
concern or more.
I was concerned or like just don't know enough to hire because you always think about big corporations when you think about employees. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, now responsible for you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And
yeah,
then that can be the scary part, like being responsible for someone else. You know what I mean? So,
right. And that
um,
and
yeah,
the responsibility of that, like the depth of that, it's not just that person; it's that person's livelihood that you're taking care
right.
of. The person's financial responsibilities on their end,
Family,
family,
kids,
kids.
like,
You're not. It's just not somebody coming in and make you some extra money. No, you're taking care of their life and whoever's connected to them, their household. You're given that
hmm
opportunity there, and you times in that by 4. So you got to be on point more than anybody. And
hmm
that's a whole that's those gems right there. I wasn't even thinking about that. I don't know if I even be to that point until maybe another year or two, before I can get to that point
hmm
because I'm definitely almost to the ceiling here. I'm almost there
hmm
where it's doing this, but
yeah,
because some may be
that's when you know
doing,
it's time.
maybe even think I'm just now doing memberships.
hmm
So it's, a lot of people may not be doing it. Oh, I just want this session or what. But like you said, it depends on where you're trying to go with it. And
Yeah.
I want to get to that point. You see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be a beacon with all other beacons, self-care, health workers, energy workers, light workers, holistic care. Bring us all together
Yeah.
and make a huge global push on trying to do
hmm
what we can to help humanity. Um, and that's one of the reasons for the platform and giving this education out. So definitely
hmm
definitely appreciate you and all the wisdom many
Man,
more.
thank you for this platform.
Oh, no
This
problem,
is
man.
man,
No
you're doing a
problem.
great job too, man.
Thank
You
you.
got the voice, you got the background, you got the lights.
I'm
I
trying.
was like,
I'm
I'm over
trying.
here like, man, should I do this in my office? Should I do it in my wife's office? I'm like,
I'm
man,
right here in the
we'll just
room.
do
One of the, well,
it.
yeah, that's why I was like, I encourage you definitely. You know what I mean? I'm more than welcome to come on your side too. Definitely pop that thing. We need more of this because the more we got of this out here, the
Hmm.
more education going. Like to me, everything is more, more
Hmm.
of everything. So to me, it's right here on the table. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
this is my room. I just said forget it. The only part that I don't like camera wise, I cover up with me is my sink and all that stuff here. And I just
Hmm.
sit here, and that way they can't really do it.
Yeah,
We got the
because
waterfall,
you
you
got
got
the
the light.
water fountain in the background. I like that, man.
Yeah, that was like
It's
500 for
soothing.
that. It's pretty tall. It's about
Yeah.
5. It was a nice penny right there. I put distilled water in and got it
Yeah.
full. It's really nice. It's really. I try to do it. Shout outs to my mom. She the one kind of put me on that. She was like, "You see this?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
about to buy it right now." She said, "No, no, I was just
Hmm.
showing you because I wanted it." Oh, interesting conversation, but but yeah, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate all the love, and that keeps me going, man. That keeps me encouraging. I appreciate you. I appreciate the wisdom. Keep doing a phenomenal job because you're the only one I know that's doing anything remotely close to what you're doing, really making an impact. I know Alabama, Birmingham is where you're at, Birmingham, Alabama,
Yeah.
right? Yep,
Hmm.
is lucky to have you, especially a part of the community and what you're doing to give back. It's on a massive scale, and
Oh man, thanks, man.
however far you want to go with it, I'm wishing you further than that.
Yeah.
So I
And that's why I
appreciate you,
think
brother.
it's so important to connect with people like you and others who really want to take things far and
Hmm.
educate our communities. And I just appreciate it, man. And thank you for doing what you're doing
Oh
and
no problem.
this
Thank you.
platform because it's good. I've been checking out your interview. I know you just dropped one.
Oh
I hadn't
yeah,
checked it out yet. It was
yeah.
with a
Those
female.
the last two I just dropped, which I'm gonna bring this one in right after that because I'm trying to
Mhm.
balance it all out. And I got ones that I'm working on that's a bit tough. I got to line everything up, so it's taking me a little bit more to editing because I'm doing that side too, which is
Mhm.
basically about two incredible individuals, moms that went through trauma, um, with losing a child and how they are doing their day to day and giving back to their calling to help other similar situations with other moms or any individuals that has trauma and reaching out, with what they're doing. So two incredible shows that I knew
Mm.
was impactful. Once I dropped the first one with Joy Through Alchemy, she's in Las Vegas. Huge. That's probably the most viewed episode I had. That huge impact.
Okay, yeah, that's the one that I'm gonna check out. That's the one I was talking about.
Joy with
Yeah, I'm
Alchemy, but
gonna
I
check that one
literally
out.
just dropped one last week, Monday, with the Awakening Mama
Mhm.
or the Awakening Design, but she goes by the Awakening Mama with very similar. She's in Utah and a childhood friend of mine
Mhm.
that is
Mhm.
also very similar on the story of, but it's great episodes, man. And, and it's just, all my episodes are great. All of my episodes have its uniqueness to it to get as much knowledge as possible in every aspect as possible. So I can't do it without y'all. You know what I mean? I'm not. I only know so much, and those are conversations we have. We're bringing those situations to show that there's a way, there's light. To
Mhm.
You can never heal from a tragedy like that, but you can learn how to utilize it and live with it day to day, and how to amplify it by helping others through that pain that you are going through. So
Mhm.
yeah, definitely check both of those out. The those, what, 17 and 18, Joy Through Alchemy, and the
Okay.
Awakening Design. Both incredible,
Yeah, I'm gonna check
absolutely
those out.
incredible ladies. Um, and then I got another one that's going to get more on the food and the plant based and herbs type of that's happening here in a couple of days. And then I have um, the Joy Through Alchemy. Joy Through Alchemy's husband, he's dropping a book, and he's also talking about food and nutrition. That I'm gonna bring him on the show as well. So it's I'm everywhere with it, man. Like just healing and growing, brother. Healing and growing everywhere aspect. And this is just our part of what I play. It's licensed massage therapist, you, and giving back. We all in it together, right? So yeah, definitely, man. Anything you need, you already got me a service. You part of the family. Definitely bring you back. So look out for that when I start doing these group discussions. We can do a part 2 if you like. Okay. We can talk more into other ones. If you got an idea, we'll run it back. And then we'll keep this thing going.
You ever thought about doing some Instagram lives, like with a group?
Oh yeah, this actually, the cool thing about this is this can live stream to that chat over there you was talking about earlier. This can live stream to Facebook. So it can be on Facebook at the same time we're doing it, just like we're doing. And that chat would be Facebook chat. But more than that too, it can also go into it has the RSS to go into websites. It has other things that I can attach to it. Twitch, Twitter, all kinds of things. But yeah, that's still on that growing ripple that we're doing, So once I get all that linked in, because it's a link, but I got to figure out, I was trying to already do it, but it's a link to it that I got to figure out how to attach it to it. Once I get that there, it'll be on the Facebook as well. The same time we're doing this, or put it on Facebook. There's a link that they could come and be directly into this as live, and that can be as many up to 8 guests. This thing is nice, as long as it, it keeps, it stops acting up on certain things, but it's nice. It's nice all around. So yeah, I definitely appreciate you, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. You don't understand all the wisdom, everything we got. We greatly appreciate Lamar story, telling his story with everything that we're doing. We can't thank him enough. Make sure you check him out. I'm gonna have all the links with the Life Touch Massage, with the Olive Branch. I'm gonna have everything there for you in the description. I'm gonna be plugging it in as well. Make sure you send I think you said like there's a .org link you had. Is it? Am I mistaken? There was another link. No. Okay, just the Life Touch Massage and everything like that. All the links. I'm gonna find them. Yep. All the links. I'm gonna put them all in there. So y'all have it.
Branch and Life Touch. So,
Life Touch. Okay, Life Touch and the Olive Branch. I'm gonna put them in there. Make sure y'all go check them out, especially if you're down there in Birmingham, Alabama, because he's holding it down. From yours truly, from Life Touch Massage and the Olive Branch, the Zodiac Experience Podcast. As we always say, remember to resync back to yourself. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you share, like, comment, and subscribe so you can get notified on the new uploads to the channel. If you're watching this on my website, thezodiacexperience.com, make sure you join the email list where you can get notified on new episodes or even a chance to join the live show, me and the audience, and even get some cool gear like this jacket and shirt. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple, iTunes, whatever you are, make sure you follow so you can get notified as well. And last but not least, if you're not following me on any of the social platforms, IG, Facebook, TikTok, etc., everything is at the Zodiac Experience. All the links, everything else could be found down below. Appreciate you tuning in. Once again, thank you. And remember to resync back to yourself.